I think we're live. We're live, everybody. YouTube, please work here. It says we're live. Yep, we're live. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new stream. And that is right, we are live on this beautiful March 23rd, 2026. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm having a great day myself. And it's just me today, everybody. So, yeah, just me today. We have a lot to talk about today, especially as it pertains to Iran. A lot of big news on that front today. As I'm speaking, there's a lot of big news coming. So, yeah, a lot's going on in the world. Before we get into today's stream, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. These are all great ways to support the daily content. And if you have any questions or concerns or want to support the channel even further, the best way is sending super chats via the chat. Again, I'll read through as much chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to get your questions answered. And we got a super chat right here. K-Cup for 2. Late Adabat politics, amazing graphics, bad FPS. I have no clue what that is, but thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Let's see. Okay. Where we start? Gustavo for 5. My advice of rap. Announce your support to the Tyrone 25th transition. Say John Rose will be the VP. Announce you will not stream in 2028. Don't resign. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll talk about that tweet. I know you're referencing. Oh gosh. Okay. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about, especially as it pertains to Iran. Let me pull this up. So where are we at? Okay, there we go. Found the tweet. Good Lord. So the big story of the day and kind of the point of the stream is a statement President Trump put out a little while ago. Earlier today, President Trump put out this statement. He said, I am pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had over the last 2 days very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. Based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week. Funny enough, he misspelled which. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald John Trump. And this is real. So apparently, they actually had conversations with somebody in Iran. Now, there's some people saying this is fake news. He's acting like a pannequin or a taco or whatever. But we're getting some very unique reporting from Iran. And let me fix the YouTube thing. Good Lord. There we go. Got it. So there's been some reporting as of late about what's actually going on here. We don't really know enough to really say for sure what's going on. But Axios out of nowhere put out a very fascinating report. Let me pull this up. Where's that? Where is it at? Yeah, so right here. This is the Axios reported earlier today from an Israeli official that in addition to the White House special envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, Vice President J.D. Vance may attend a peace summit with Iranian officials, including the parliament speaker. I'm not going to try to say his name, being planned for later this week. And this came out of nowhere. There was a lot of speculation about who is this mysterious person we're talking to. Well, it's sounding like, again, this will be fake news. In fact, he's already denied it. But it sounds like it's actually the speaker of the Iranian parliament, which we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure if that's actually real. This could be complete bullshit, but from what we're hearing, it sounds like there is some legitimacy here, that they're talking to somebody. That like there is no way that everybody involved is lying about this. I know Iran's denying it, but everybody's basically saying that, yeah, they're talking to somebody. And the reporting right now is saying it's the speaker. Now, what does this mean? I don't know. I think it does bring some credibility to the idea that, yeah, there's a lot of people within the regime and government that realize it's over. We better bend the knee a little bit quicker because, yeah, they could absolutely destroy the entire energy infrastructure of Iran. So, Glitch Evie has joined the channel. Thank you so much, good sir. American Nerd for 5. Hey, Rap, I've turned 25 as someone made it a quarter century, and I heard that the war in Iran might end. Pretty good birthday so far. Happy birthday to American Nerd. W's in chat. K-Cup for 5. Trump, you want to talk now? Iran never, Orange Man. Trump, all right, I'll destroy your power plants. Iran, fuck, all right. That kind of sounds like what happened here. That Trump was going to bomb the shit out of their power plants. And I think they did bomb something last night. I know they have bombs that can like disable energy production, but not actually destroy the infrastructure. So who knows? But yeah, like out of nowhere, it seems like there's been some sudden movement. Even the oil market is going in a good direction now. The stock market surged today. Lots going good. So Ben Siddix has been a member for 17 months. Will the guard actually accept any deal? I don't know. That is the one concern because yes, you might have the speaker in Iran saying, "Oh hell no, we're not going out the ship. We're going to try to work out a deal," but you still got the guard, and there are some defections happening, but it just they're just so radical that I don't think they really give a shit. So that is a concern. But I do think we're starting to see some breakdown in the regime. We've been seeing it for the last couple of weeks. So we'll see. President Gilbert getting up for 5. I know we will get there eventually, but what's the talks about invading Cuba that's going on? We don't know for sure what's going on in Cuba, except for the fact that Cuba's kind of paranoid we're going to invade them. I don't think we're going to. Maybe we do. But, guys, Cuba's going to fall apart anyways. Let's be honest here. Their pathway to success is gone. They have no energy. They have no oil. Their economy stinks. And the little power they do got now, little electricity they got, they're wasting on these influencers. Which, did you guys see those videos of those like influencers from America and like wherever else going to Cuba? And while everybody's like starving and they have no power or anything, and like there's ventilators failing, which is a serious issue. I think people died. Like, unironically, I think people in hospitals in Cuba, they died because the ventilators can't work for obvious reasons. Yet these clowns are having like a concert where they're blasting music and shit, and their hotel rooms are all nice and they have full power and shit. It's just wild. It's like, really? That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And yes, it's Hassan Piker. It's fucking wild that you go to that regime and everybody is like suffering. They have no electricity. Their hospitals are literally failing. But oh yeah, we can have our shitty concert and all that. It's, oh my gosh. A glitch Eevee for 2. I didn't expect RFK Jr. to become the Ayatollah. Yeah, that's real. American Nerd for 3. What terms from Iran will we get from this summit? We don't know. I do think it's going to be, if I had to guess, and I hope this is what happens, it's going to be kind of the same thing we had in Venezuela, where we installed a new regime technically. It is technically the old one, but it's not really. And in the first couple of weeks, they may sound tough and they may say, we're going to get Maduro back. He's the rightful president. But after a month, everybody realizes, oh, we don't even need Maduro. And now everyone kind of accepts that the new president of Venezuela, she's the legitimate president. They're working with America. I think that's what's going to happen. Like, we're going to give it a couple weeks. We're going to say, hey, have fun. And they're going to talk a big game, and they're forced to kind of concede a lot of stuff. That's what I think is going to happen. Maybe not as fast because it is Iran, but I don't know. I have no clue what's going to happen. I do think, though, it will be similar to Venezuela, hopefully. Ben 6 for 2. You need a regular Iran military to arrest the guard. Yeah, that's the one thing that could probably solve the issue. I think the military's just done. You notice they've not done anything. They have done jack shit the last couple of weeks for good reason. I think they're going to do something. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Where are we at? I would be a communist too if they give me the red carpet treatment. Yeah, that's a funny thing. It's like, yeah, that's communism, all right. All the poor people are starving. their ventilators are failing and shit, but oh, the elites get they get their shit. They get their crappy concert. Meanwhile, they watch poor people. It's crazy. That's real. Like, it's an actual thing going on. I'm not even exaggerating. Their ventilators are failing. Not good. Not good at all. All right. So I think with Iran, it's to be determined, but I do think we're seeing very slow progress. Like, they're talking to somebody. There's just way too much smoke here. And if there's smoke, there's probably a fire. So I don't know. I think right now they're talking to God knows who. It's somebody higher up in the regime that's realizing he's probably dead if he doesn't do anything fast. And they're denying it publicly, but behind closed doors, everybody's reporting it now. Everybody's saying, yeah, they're talking as God knows who. Whether it's a speaker, it might be the president, I don't know. But they're talking to somebody. So, yeah, I think Iran, we're getting close to the end. I hope. I just don't like the idea of boots on the ground. I still don't think it's going to happen. I've seen some explanations for why we have troops in the Middle East now. There's some people saying we're kind of rotating troops out, and that's what's going on. We're not going to invade them. Hopefully that's the case, but we'll see, I guess. We'll see. I see that explanation where we're just rotating troops. We're not actually going to invade. Could that be the reason we're doing it? Maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll know in a couple of, probably within the end of the week. Probably like Friday or something. So where would Vance and the speaker meet? I think they're talking about Pakistan, I think. I believe it's Pakistan. And that would make sense because it's, well, Pakistan. American Nerd for 6. Fun fact about my birthday. I was born the exact day the Soviets made Russian space station. Mir flew from orbit and blew up. Suck it, Russia. Oh, gosh. Thanks for the super chat. But yeah, I think I saw something about Pakistan being the place they meet. So I can't think of anywhere else. It's not going to be Afghanistan. The Gulf states want Iran dead at this point, so it's not going to be there. So it's got to be Pakistan or like what? Russia? I can't think of where else they would go. Maybe like somewhere like Vietnam, maybe, or it's just so crazy like that. Vietnam or like a other neutral country. I don't know. Okay, it's Pakistan. Yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. Just showing, what did I miss? We're getting some good news on the Iranian front. We don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but it sounds like there is some movement against the regime. What about the guard? Again, that's going to be the big issue. What do you do with them? I think most will defect, like the plebs and like the actual like rank and file, but we'll see. Israel, yeah, no, yeah, no. Azerbaijan, I'm pretty sure they got bombed. I don't think they're gonna allow it. Uzbekistan, I mean, there's some countries up there you can maybe try, but I don't know. And hold up, we actually got some pretty big news. Hold up here. So, we got some breaking news. Out from the IDF, actually. Hold up here. Let me pull this up. The IDF put out a statement about Iran. Simple logic for 5. Watch a panic claim the ceasefires because of them. Literally, all the safe face. Oh, we're starting to see it. And we'll pull that up. But yeah, right here, everybody. Breaking. This, I don't know who's reporting this, but apparently the IDF has announced the end of a large-scale strike campaign on Tehran, stated that the widespread wave attacks has been completely finished. IDF says completes wide-scale wave of strikes in Tehran. So, wait a minute. Is the strikes over? I know this is the IDF, and they can be full of shit, but they're claiming that they're kind of done with the main strikes. Yeah, it is. We're talking about a very suspicious source. It is the IDF. They're full of shit. But I don't know. They just reported that they're done with the main attacks. I guess who freaking knows? Knowing them, they're gonna still bomb shit. I don't know. It's the first time they said anything like this, though. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is like a positive development? If Israel's done, we have no reason to keep going. Yeah, yeah. What's the point of this point? I still think it's still a waste of time, but I don't know. The IDF flies with everything. Yeah, that is the one issue. This is the IDF, but they really haven't said anything like this before. So I don't know. There is something happening that we just don't know about. I actually don't know. And yeah, we're getting more reports about like yeah, we're getting more reports about this meeting in Pakistan in Pakistan with top officials from representing Tehran and Witkoff and Kushner. So it looks like a meeting's going to happen possibly later this week. Hold up here. So there's something going on here. Again, people got to understand with foreign policy, there's so much shit we don't know. Like there is some information leaking, but we don't know the full story. And that's why I've told people to wait and see on most stuff because you just don't know. But everybody's starting to report that, yeah, it's another Axios report, I guess. People confirming it. There are more and more people starting to confirm the reporting. Huh. America Nerd for 2. Did Iran finally run out missiles and drones? They've been running low for a while. So who knows? President Gilbert Gideon for 2. Tyrone for Pakistani Supreme Leader. Oh gosh, real. I heard they're running out of missiles. That might be it. They because at some point they're out of fucking missiles. Like they have some left. I've always said this. They're always gonna have a little bit here and there. But every metric indicates they're running out of missiles and drones. They just are. And China's saying, fuck you. Russia's not helping. Who do they got supporting them at this point? A lot of their missiles were imploding in the air recently. Yeah, I heard about that. I think they're starting to use the really shitty ones now. They're starting to realize they're out. They use all the good ones. The ones they got left are defective. They might still work once in a while, but they're kind of just falling apart. So that is a serious conversation to have. I think they're running out of drones, maybe. But you can look at every single chart of people reporting the amount of missiles and drones. It's going down every day. Once in a while, there's a quick spike by 1%, but it goes right back down. So, yeah. North Korea. Yeah, you got North Korea. Wow. Guys, North Korea is a freaking joke. It's such a meme. Foreign illegal immigrants should not be allowed in every country. Yeah. Curtis Charlie Hill for 5. A lot of fake news in this war to believe the headline. Usually Netanyahu himself would announce something that big. Feels like another head fake. Maybe. That is a good point about the reporting. If this was like a legitimately big thing they're going to do, maybe you would see Netanyahu and others report it. Maybe, sure, or announce it. I don't know, though. There is a lot of smoke to this. I don't know. President Gilbert Gideon for 2. Real American for Iranian Supreme Leader. No. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think about this. We're getting a lot of reporting, though, about this meeting. There's something going on. They're leaking way too much stuff for this to be fake. Usually, if this was like one report from an anonymous account, that's one thing, but everybody's reporting the same thing, that there's a meeting that's going to take place soon in Pakistan. On to Cuba next month. Yeah, probably next month in Cuba. And after that, who's left at this point? Mexico. Well, even then, it seems like Mexico is finally going after the cartels or bombing the shit out of them now. Is Trump going to single-handedly fix all the problems in like a year? It's going to look like that. Because he really, on the foreign policy front, he didn't do any of this last year. There was the Iran strikes earlier last year, but really it wasn't It wasn't that widespread. It was like one strike and that was it. But yeah, I mean, like, guys, I, if Iran goes down, then Cuba, who's left? North Korea's a meme. Like, they're guys, you're not gonna be able to touch North Korea. That is the one place that China would intervene. Yeah, you got the cartels, but looks like Mexico's dealing with them now. There's a lot going on. Trump gets along with North Korea. Yeah, surprisingly well. It's kind of funny though, but Colombia, they're gonna get a new president. I don't know. I'm hoping this is the end of the direct intervention like this. I think we're reaching the point of we're done. And if we would have, like, I know it's still 13 Americans that died. That's 13 too many. But honestly, if we're able to take down the regimes of Venezuela, Iran, Cuba, the cartels, and a few others, if we're able to take this all down in the span of like 2 years and only 13 Americans died, and theoretically we don't have to worry about these issues ever again, down the line could save more American lives. Like, that's got to be one of the biggest successes in a long time, foreign policy wise. Just like, again, 13 Americans died. It's awful. That is 13 too many. But for everything we've done, that'd be a huge deal. Needs to start focusing on the domestic stuff. Well, again, we talked this before. A lot of Trump's domestic policies rely, funny enough, on a stable world. He needs the world to be halfway stable for his domestic policies to really work. Yemen, I mean, without Iran, like, who the hoot is going to have backing them? They got nobody. So, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of good news in the next couple of months. And I'm hoping that by the end of May, hopefully, like we're done with all this shit. We're done with Iran, with Cuba, with Colombia, with the cartels. Because at this point, you're going to get everything accomplished then. I don't see any more interventions. K-Cup for 5. If this is the end of all of this, we have officially written the final chapter of the War on Terror. The story is then finished. Full America first. Yeah, that's my hope. I know a lot of people are critical of the admin's handling of foreign policy, but if it, in the long run, protects American lives and actually puts an end to the nonsense across the world, like the Middle East, it's still gonna have problems. You're gonna have these proxy groups no matter what you do. But if you take down the main issues, you're done. You can pull out of the Middle East mostly. You can finally focus exclusively on America. And also you fuck over China and Russia. So we're going to see, though. Trump's first term was good because there's stability in the world. Never forget how much Biden's admin messed all that up. Yeah, that is a good point. There were issues, obviously, but most of the time in Trump's first term, you didn't have this constant bullshit going on. You had it once in a while. You had the Syrian strikes. You had North Korea playing games. Really, it wasn't as bad as it was under Obama or Bush when everything was on fire. So, let's see. People that want to hear about the war unintentionally took negative attention off ice to let it function even smoother. Yeah, that's an ironic thing. It still has some issues, but you know, it looks like the negative press is finally gone fully for ice. So, but yeah, I'm hoping by the end of May we're done with all this horse shit. We're done with Cuba, done with Colombia, done with Iran, done with the cartels. Theoretically, at that point, people should be happy that we're done. And you can finally bring all the troops home. Most of them, not all of them, of course, but yeah. Imagine gas prices if everything goes well. Yeah, I mean, this is a big thing. It sucks right now, but it seems like we're finally hitting the peak of the gas prices. It looks like it's starting to curve down a little bit. So, yeah. All right. So at the end of the day, Iran is still to be determined. I want it to end as soon as possible, but it looks like we're getting some positive news. We're seeing some movement. Do you think without Iranian oil, do you think Russia stops an incursion without Ukraine? That's another reason I think Trump's doing this. He wants war in Ukraine to end. President Gilbert getting up for 5. All this is needed to keep both China and Russia at bay. This is different from what Haley and Pence would have done, wars with no end goal. Yeah, that you could argue that, yeah, Israel does benefit way more than the United States with Iran. But it's clear as day. But people understand there are multiple goals in interventions like this. The United States can have their own reasons for getting involved. They might work with Israel. That might be a reason, sure, but there are other reasons at play here. Yeah, Mike Pence and Nikki Haley would just bomb every country because of reasons without any clear goal, and you lose everything. Trump's already rising up in the polls. Imagine the war ends. He's kind of stagnating, though. There's some really shit polls coming out. The -30, -35. We're getting that point again. Here we go with the polls are already getting kind of ridiculous, but yeah. What if the CCP falls too? How can it? I don't know how you can make it collapse. All right. The Supreme Court is rumored to rule in favor of banning late mail-in ballots. Yeah, that's actually another big story of the day. So the Supreme Court right now is hearing a case. Where is it at? It is a Mississippi law, which is a similar measure in 13 other states. You can probably guess who else. Yeah, right here. So states like California, New York, and Texas, among other states, have comparable laws to Mississippi, where basically they're allowing these bullshit mail-in ballots to arrive after Election Day, if it's postmarked by then, which is insane. How many times we've explained this, that why can't they make the deadline a week earlier? Why? Why is this bullshit of, oh, we have to wait a week after Election Day to get all the results? That's horseshit. No. But apparently, the Supreme Court is hearing the case right now, and I listened to parts of it. They're going to overturn this shit. I don't see how anyone can defend this idea of, oh, if it's postmarked by Election Day, it's perfectly fine. No, that's horseshit. That is complete bullshit. K-Dog for 5. Hey, Rap, off topic, but thoughts on the potential plan for the Senate to cancel recess and to pass the SAVE Act with a simple majority? I heard they're going to try that. Apparently, Democrats are already bending the knee a little bit. They're getting kind of sick of this. But yeah, it's a Save America Act. Yeah, thanks for clarification. I did hear that's Mike Lee's plan now. And a lot of Democrats, they may say, fuck this, we're gone. Trump may actually, or John Thune might actually pull this off. It's sounding like Democrats are already kind of like starting to break a little bit. It is not going good for them all at all. They're focused on nonsense on Mike Lee's debunked 100 times over already. It looks like they're starting to slowly break. But yeah, that's a very unique idea. Just say, fuck it. We're canceling the recess, and you got to stay in Washington and force these people to stay. It's just, I can't believe they're fighting over an 80-20 issue like this. It's just wild. 90-10, actually. That is a very good idea. Will it pass, though? They could theoretically ram it through in that scenario. If enough Democrats fuck off and, they leave, which they're starting to leave already, even though DHS isn't funded, they're playing these games. Come on, Thune. We will forgive you if you actually do this. Fuck the recess. Pass the Save America Act. K-Cup for 5. So you're going to tell me that the Iran war is possibly ending, Trump is gaining momentum, and Peter Parker's broken, maturing, Chet, are we back? Yeah, there's some positive things developing. It's still early with the Iran talks, but I don't know. We'll see. American Nerd for 2. What's going on with the DHS funding, by the way? They're playing games. They're playing these fucking games. Democrats, now they're admitting. Let me pull the quotes, actually. This is the opposition, everybody. This is who some people think we should give power to. Let me pull this up. President Gilbert getting up for 5. If the Save America Act passes, I still think Ken Paxton should stay for the runoff. I agree. It's too late for him to drop out anyways. So, I really wish Mike Lee was the majority leader. He's doing a really good job. Mike Lee used to be kind of iffy on some issues, but he's been fucking amazing. He does not give a shit. He knows, hey, we got to pass this for a reason. He's forcing this through. And by the way, This might set up the precedent to avoid the filibuster. It's a drawn out process, it's painful, but you can get around the filibuster if you play these games, like Mike Lee's trying. So, yeah, right here. This is an actual report, by the way. This is real. I cannot believe we're actually seeing this shit. Look at this. If Trump thought dispatching ICE agents to airports would force Democrats to blanket the never-ending DHS shutdown, he's in for a rude awakening. I checked in with a bunch of Democrat lawmakers and top staffers yesterday. Their response wasn't just unfazed. At times, it was downright giddy. The way they see it, Trump's move screams desperation. Oh my God. And look at what they're actually saying. Look at this. Great. Oh, let me pull this up. Shoot. Let me zoom in for you guys. This is what we're dealing with here. This is our opposition, everybody. Great. Do it. One senior Democrat official said to me, let's fuck around and find out. Another predicted the optics would be disastrous for Trump. Armed agents at airports will crush tourism and freak people out. A third couldn't resist the jab. Can they please show up in the masks? Yeah. These people are so batshit crazy. They're happy about this. They're like, yeah, we're going to make things even more miserable. Forcing ICE agents to these airports, which, by the way, they're already arrested a ton of people. Seriously? You cannot support these people. I don't give a shit what you think about the GOP. You know how you improve the Republican Party? Win primaries. These people are just batshit crazy. Hell, you have Welch of Vermont. Let me pull this up, actually. Like, you can't make this up. Let me pull this up. This is shit they're pushing. They're already armed guards airports. Yeah, I mean, like, they want to see, like, shit happen. They want to see a standoff or something crazy like that. Where is it? I gotta find the tweet because it was fucking insane what Welch of Vermont said. Primaries, yeah. I gotta find the tweet. Yep, right here. This is an actual thing. Jonathan Turley reported this, by the way. Or he quoted, I should say. Look at this shit. I finally found it. This is real. So they're in the minority right now. They're not in the majority. Theoretically, they should have no power. Yet you have Peter Welch of Vermont saying this. Look at this. On C-SPAN, Senator Peter Welch of Vermont admitted that he hopes the shutdown of DHS and TSA will force the GOP to consider amnesty for millions of unlawful immigrants. This follows other Democrats saying the shutdown is all about defunding ICE. Look at this. This is insane. So they're now saying we will keep not just, there are many, it's TSA now, the Border Patrol, all of this. They're saying we want amnesty. So they would rather force through amnesty than fund DHS. And they explicitly mention TSA. They explicitly mention Border Patrol. What do you think's going to happen if they get a one-seat majority in both chambers? If they get a majority in 2028 with a Democrat president, you know damn well they're going to force through not just defunding ICE, they're going to abolish ICE. At this point, they're going to probably abolish Border Patrol. Look what Pritzker's saying. He's saying we're going to round up all the federal agents and all these maggots in the administration, and we're going to try them and we're going to go after them with bullshit laws. They're admitting what they're going to do. This is them in the minority. In the majority, they're going to ram through Amnesty. They're going to gut ICE, gut Border Patrol, probably gut TSA, gut the Coast Guard, everything DHS related, get rid of most of it, ram through Amnesty, and there you go. Does no one see the issue with this? These people are crazy. That's all they think about. Like, seriously, they would rather have DHS shut down. And now they're just saying they want to protect illegal immigrants. They would rather put illegal immigrants first. President Gilbert getting it for 5. At this point, governors should have their National Guards if state police at these TSA lines at the airports. Yeah, I agree. Start to send the National Guard in these states. So yeah, I agree with that. Would Roy Cooper want ICE abolished though? These people are crazy. Guys, these people, like you, first of all, if Democrats get like a 3-seat majority in the Senate, it doesn't matter what Roy Cooper or others think. They're going to still ram it through. Roy Cooper does not give a shit. He's going to be a partisan Democrat. All these people are. John Fetterman's going to get primaried out. So that vote's gone. Who else would be opposed to defunding ICE at this point? Who else would be opposed to amnesty in the Senate? I can't think of one Democrat. You had Joe Manchin and Sinema putting a stop to that. Now they're gone. And now the filibuster's probably getting nuked. Just crazy. They want to get a 3-seat majority. Well, it's just hypothetically speaking, you lose 26, lose 28, you end up with a Democrat majority in both chambers. How do you think that's going to go? This is them in the minority. Angus King. He's, again, guys, these bullshit independents, they're not independent. They're partisan Democrats that once in a while in some obscure vote, they vote against their party. Like that's Angus King and a few others. It's just crazy. ICE funding is locked. They can't do anything about it. But 2029 is going to come around eventually. Man Mulk has been a member for 32 months. I love being a used car salesman. I'm getting paid to play Dragon, whatever that is, on my laptop and watch rap streams because nobody's buying shit. Gosh. Funny on New Scum is freaking out on his California stay back to flip red. What? Angus King's only moderate on guns. And even that, he's a partisan vote. I don't get like what people think. If this were the Democrat Party 20 years ago, fine, you have an argument. Now, these people literally want only amnesty. Henry Cuellar is about the only one that maybe would be against it. But guess what? Jared Golden, he's gone. He's already retiring. Perez might retire, or not retire, but she might get primaried out. So I don't get the strategy. I don't get it. Bernie Sanders is independent. Yeah, he's definitely an independent voice, everybody. He used to, but he's a partisan Dem. That's all he is. They would be in power forever because they would expand the Supreme Court and get rid of the Electoral College. Yeah. And just amnesty for every illegal immigrant. Keep the border wide open. You cross the border, you're a citizen because that's the 14th Amendment or some shit. That's what they're going to do. Let's see. Can you see Republicans making inroads into New England in 28? Maybe. With 28, it's way too far out to really make predictions on it. Either way, like I think it's way too early. You talk about some scenarios, but it's just, we don't know. A lot can happen even the next couple of months. I think people are kind of forgetting the fact that a week in politics is a lifetime. Can you imagine what stuff's going to look like in 8 months, like in November? That's what people got to understand. We are months away. In a week on politics alone is a lifetime. A lot of crazy shit's happening. A lot can happen. People have to relax and just chill out. People have to chill out about it. So, again, very early, we'll see. As a New Englander, Republicans unfortunately have no chance anywhere outside of New Hampshire and maybe Maine. I agree. I think New Hampshire, there's a lot of hope there. There is a chance now, which is crazy to say, but isn't Rhode Island governor competitive this year? In the Democrat primary, it's a shit show. There's like 20 people running and the governor's hated by everybody. We'll see. Okay. So, in other news, I guess we could talk about. Hold up. We got some breaking news, everybody. Hold up. The Supreme Court has just apparently made a new ruling from Jonathan Turley. Hold on here. Right here. The Supreme Court may have put a dent in announced plan to Democrat politicians to arrest ICE officers and unleash sweeping prosecutions once they retake power. The court just reversed the Second Circuit, holding that a Vermont officer had immunity in a protester's injury. In Zord versus Linton, the court voted 6-3 that officers are generally shielded from civil liability unless prior case law put the unlawfulness of an action beyond debate. While a civil case, the court has shown the same difference in criminal cases. Holy shit. So the Supreme Court's already saying, yeah, fuck you. We're not playing these games where an officer can be held liable from this craziness. No, really can't. Good. W's a chat for the Supreme Court, a 6-3 decision. I can only imagine who voted yes and voted no. I can only imagine. That's really good news. That is a huge win because that basically stops any bullshit from Democrats pulling anything. That's really good news. That is excellent. The expectation of civil and criminal cases will be filed against ICE and other federal law enforcement officers. Indeed, some politicians have insisted on barring masks to facilitate such lawsuits. So yeah, that pretty much killed it. Good. That is a huge win. That stops a lot of shit from happening. A lot of shit is going to stop because of this. Good. That's just common sense. And, like, I can't believe it explains to people, but it's like, yeah, that's common sense. Like, yeah. Just, I can't believe they explained that, but now I need the VRA ruling. Yeah, they're taking their sweet time on it. Come on. Can you please release it already? This is getting ridiculous. Yeah, big W by SCOTUS. I have no clue who wrote the decision, but well, I hope the Supreme Court bans mail-in ballots. That's the big one. That and VRA. Oh my gosh, if they gut both of those, holy shit. Just watch. Magically, Democrats have huge problems. Just watch. Like, I'm not saying to flip California red or whatever, but can you just imagine with the investigations in Fulton County, Georgia, Maricopa County, Arizona, now Riverside, California, and now you have the VRA being gutted. You have mail-in ballots, they may get gutted. I don't think people are truly ready for the possible impact this has because the Democrat strategy has always been bullshit like that. Last 10 years, it's been complete horseshit like that. Curtis Char Hill for 5. VRA struck down plus latent ballot struck down plus Virginia redistricting fails plus Save America Act passes equals midterm R win. That has bigger consequences than the Iran war. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they're not ready for the amount of horseshit we're going to deal with. I'm not saying it flips California or like Illinois or whatever, but just watch. Watch some of these states magically shift hard to the right. Magically out of nowhere. Look at Florida. But before they reformed the electoral system, look, it was a swing state. And within minutes of getting rid of that nutcase that I think was Palm Beach or Broward County, suddenly that shifted 20 points to the right. The entire state did. Funny how that works. And that's Florida. And that's going to happen every other state. So, yeah, I hope they do this. You would hear the rees from across the globe. Yeah. We might just keep the Senate or the House. I don't know. I I still think right now Democrats are favored to win the House right now, but I have no clue what the impact of this will be because people have to understand the Democrat machine has been built on early voting, has been built on mail-in voting in a lot of states. Not every state, but a lot of them, they have made their voters so used to voting by mail. Will these voters vote in person? I have no clue. Glitch Evie for 5. W Supreme Court, remember vote Vance 2028 and 2032. To make the Supreme Court even better, we need a 9-0 Supreme Court. Yeah, I agree. American Nerd for 2. This birthday keeps getting better. Really good news. Yeah, Brenda Snipes. Oh my gosh. Like, every time I hear about that story, it is insane. Broward County, that's what it is. It's always Palm Beach or Broward, but it's Broward in this case. Guys, you all know why Florida was a swing state for so long? Look up Brenda Snipes. You know what? Let me pull this up. You want to see some Looney Tunes type shit? What Florida was dealing with before DeSantis fired her ass? You want to see this shit? Look at this. This is the type of shit we were dealing with, okay? So, in the 2004 general election, thousands of absentee ballots were lost in Broward County. County election officials said that approximately 58,000 absentee ballots were delivered to the Postal Service to be mailed to voters, but the post office claimed to have never received them. Before the elections, Fair Elections International had requested permission to observe the elections of various counties in the U.S., including Broward County. Yeah, this was right after 2000. And all these ballots magically vanished. Funny how that works. 2012 elections, close to 2018, or close to 1,000 ballots were discovered a week after the election. Oh my gosh. This is the shit that they were dealing with in Florida for years. I mean, seriously, this is a swing state. This is a state that Democrats, they really haven't had any control in for the last 20 years. Look at this. 2016, Florida held its Democrat primaries on August 30th, 2016. Blah, blah, blah. A month before the election, Wasserman Schultz had been ousted from her position as chairwoman of the DNC over allegations that she and others rigged the Democrat primary, which she did, to favor Clinton. Schultz was declared the winner of the Florida primary. After 2016 election, Snipes unsuccessfully sued by a group pushing a medical marijuana ballot, blah, blah, blah. The election results were released 30 minutes before the polls closed. Florida state law says any supervisor of elections, deputy supervisor of elections, canvassing board members, election board members, etc., who released the results of any election prior to the close of the polls, had committed a felony of the 3rd degree. And yeah, it just keeps going. And 2018 happened, it was a shit show. Like, just read this part right here. The Thursday following the election, a teacher found a box marked provisional ballots that had been left at the school used the polling place. The teacher reported finding the box, but did not touch it or look inside. Jesus. Yeah. This is the shit they were dealing with here. My God. Like, this is unbelievable. Just, like, I'm not going to read all of this, but you get the point that before DeSantis kind of forced her out, I know she resigned, but it was Rick Scott and DeSantis. What? Jesus. Yeah, that's what we're dealing with, everybody. That's the shit we see in Florida before Snipes got forced out. My gosh. Can you imagine this happening in every swing county? Every county that's important, like Erie County, Pennsylvania, or like a few others. This is in Florida, by the way. And this is one county that mysteriously swung 30 points to the right when she was forced out. It's just unbelievable. Part of that was a Cuban shift. We know this, but that does not explain a 50-point shift or whatever. It's just, what are we doing here? This is why we need election reform everywhere. We talk about Brandon Snipes from Broward. I remember how blatant that shit was. They didn't even try to hide it. Oh yeah, they just have provisional ballots stuck in a school. They had it, God knows where, just all over the place. They were breaking the law constantly. They didn't even try. So you see, this is why Democrats, they rely on early voting. They rely on this shit. Just look at Arizona 2018. They actually were successful there. They were actually successful in getting cinema the election with the what the county supervisor did. It was fucking nuts what they were doing. Yeah, so just unbelievable. Can you imagine this today? Well, it is probably happening everywhere else, but we don't know about it because, like, Florida's a Republican state. President Gilbert Gideon for 5. Ron Lander unleashing a full power. I'm a real American. No, you're a real American. Oh, gosh. Thanks for super chat. Yeah, so this is why it's a big deal for us to get rid of a lot of shit. That's why the Save America Act needs to pass. Needs to pass it. Arizona's a test case. Yeah, it was the testing grounds. I agree with that. So there's got to be a serious push to get the Save America Act through for that reason. And now it looks like they're going to put an end to this nonsense with mail-in voting. Again, there's nothing. I'm fine with mail-in voting, but my opinion is it should arrive a week earlier. Like, it should not do the shit of it arrives 5 weeks later. No, it should arrive at the latest, like noon on election day. Or something like that. A couple hours before polls close. K-Comfort 2. But what about 2008? Nothing there in the list. Well, it was 2008 was such a big wave. It didn't really matter. But I'm not doing okay right now for 5. Always wondered why the National Guard isn't part of the federal election process, at the very least for ballot counting. Because it's kind of a bad look to say, yeah, you get the National Guard involved because the military might get involved. Like, you don't want the military counting votes. That's kind of the idea. But, well, there's got to be some serious reforms through the whole process. Yeah, I hope they get rid of this shit. I think we're going to see a lot of weird shit happen this year if they actually get the Save America Act through and if they get this Supreme Court decision through and VRA. Let's see. Yeah, I hope we actually see progress on this front. This is really big news. And it looks like they're going to overturn this shit. So. All right, everybody. Should we talk about what Joe Kent said today? Did you guys see this? Let me find it. Oh my gosh. Listen. I'm not going to attack Kent because, again, I understand his reasoning. I think he handled it so shittily, but, so, look at this. Joe Kent put out a new statement, and he said, President Trump is working to get peace with Iran. If he can make this happen, it'll be a very good thing for our nation, our allies in the Gulf. And, of course, talks about the Israelis. They'll be against this, blah, blah, blah. But POTUS is strong and can get them on board. So now he's walking back his comments. What? Really? Really, dude? If you would have never said half the shit you said to Tucker Carlson, like, nobody would be having an issue with this. But when you imply some very sketchy shit about the Butler shooting, about which there should be more investigations into it, but still, it's like, really? Into what's going on with Iran. You change a story every 5 minutes. Yeah, now he's on board. Fucking really? It is insane. You know, he fucked up bad. Yeah, he knows it. Like, how can anyone not see through this shit? It's a giant scam. Yeah, now he's gonna be like pro-Trump. Like, he's gonna be the skeptical guy in like Israel and stuff, but really, too late. Yeah. You're way too late on that, buddy. Like, I don't know what your strategy was. But it gets even worse for him because there was a report circulating that kind of confirms what we've been hearing about Joe Kent. And let me pull this up. American Nerd for 2 lost a lot of respect for Joe Kent after last week. Yeah. You listen, you can agree with what he's saying, but the way he handled it was so bad. Like, I don't know how anyone could defend it. So we have some pretty substantial news, by the way, speaking of Kent. And if this is confirmed, all I'm going to say is it's looking likely that Candace Owens got her bullshit information in these anonymous sources and leaks from Joe Kent. Because a little while ago, the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show, Andrew Klovet, he just said, just a little while ago, this is real. He actually said this, that, let me pull this up right here. We don't throw around accusations recklessly here. Actual fact of the matter is, I provided a screen grab to Joe Kent. I don't know what happened to them at that point, but then they're made public. And this was a certain screenshot from a couple months ago that kind of fueled a lot of the conspiracy bullshit about Kirk's assassination and all that stuff. So Joe Kent is one of the few people that had access to it and magically went public. Candace Owens got her hands on it. Really? Joe Kent was the director of national counterterrorism. And instead of doing his job and, investigating these terrorist groups in America, like he's supposed to, he went down the rabbit hole with Candace Owens. Yeah, he was vetting Candace Owens' schizo witnesses. Yeah, I forgot about that. You want proof Kent wasn't taking the job seriously? He vetted that schizophrenic that claimed that he was on a military base with the Martians were like I'm exaggerating a bit, but the guy was saying some nonsensical crap, like the Martians killed Kirk and that there was a secret fort where all these top advisors met they're going to kill him. It was crazy stuff like that. And apparently Joe Kent vetted him for Candace Owens. Again, you may have issues with the Trump admin. I get that, fine. And if you want to resign, that's your job. Like that's your right, I should say. But seriously, you're going to be the one that essentially we can blame Joe Kent for the hysteria, schizophrenic nonsense of the last 5 months. Because Joe Kent was pushing the crap behind the scenes instead of talking with the actual evidence. And that witness thing proves it. That schizophrenic that had no clue he was talking about, he's full of shit. Even Alex Jones said he was full of shit. He was a liar. Yeah, he was vetted by Joe Kent for Candace Owens, allegedly. So that's why Candace Owens pushed the shit. I'm not doing okay right now for 5. Joke, I'm not going to say it, is about to be in a world of trouble legally, so he's trying to save face. I think so. I think there's a lot of smoke to this fire with the leaks and stuff. President Gilbert Gideon for 5. Was Joe Kent also president with Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens when they were talking about opening the third eye? Who freaking knows? K-Count for 2. So does this take blame away from Patel from this? Not really. Patel, I still think, fucked up the initial investigation, though I think he's done an okay job ever since on the Kirk stuff. There are investigations into it. They're not releasing it publicly for reasons, but still, though, Joe Kent had basically unlimited power to go after these people. And now I think I know what's going on here. Why Kash Patel told him no. I think he was going down the rabbit hole of Candace Owens' shit. The conspiracy nonsense about the Egyptians and the Martians, the beekeepers, the freaking Mormons. Instead of going down a realistic and, provable route, they were investigating nonsense. And that's why Patel told him, no, this is stupid. That's why he shut down that part of the investigation. So it looks like that's why Patel did it. He may have fucked up, fine. And I'm not defending Patel, by the way. I think he's done a terrible job mostly. He's done some better stuff recently, but still. It looks like that it was just Joe Kent's fuck up that made the investigation a joke, that wasted resources, wasted time. It was going nowhere. It was basically just pushing podcast conspiracy theories instead of real evidence, anything. K Cup for 2. Again, I read that already. Shit. Given infinite power that blew up completely. Where have I seen this before? Yeah. That's so frustrating. I'm not going to bash Kent because, again, I get the reason for the Iran stuff. Like, his wife died. It's horrific what happened. I get that. But, dude, seriously. American Nerd for 5. Still very curious about what BS that Joe Kent was telling his boss, Tulsi Gabbard. Especially considering the Charlie Kirk stuff. Hope her job is okay. She's not getting fired. As of right now, she must have realized this is stupid. And that's why she's kind of taking a back seat a little bit. In fact, she's actually done some good stuff for the election investigation. That's her main focus right now. So, yeah. Let's see. Remember the theory that Ken was investigating Antifa and Patel shut him down? We blame Patel, but it turns out Ken was just following podcast theories. That's what I think happened here. I think initially the main investigation, I still think they are still looking at this, I think. But I think what happened is he actually believed the bullshit Candace Owens was saying. And not just look into it and put some resources. I think he threw everything he could at this one thing. And that's why Patel, but again, why would Patel shut it down? Why is Patel in charge of that? That doesn't make any sense. His boss is Tulsi Gabbard, not Kash Patel, at least not on paper. I think we need to come to terms that Tulsi's likely the same. No, she isn't. She's actually sane. And she's actually done a lot of good stuff at DNI. So I'm not going to, no. Tulsi Gabbard's fine. I don't think she get fired. Could that change? Sure. But right now, I don't think it's going to. I don't think so. Did Joe can't get a special vision for Kirk too? Yeah, he got a special vision or some shit. It's a fucking scam. Like, the worst part is, you had a once, not just a generational, you had a once in a lifetime opportunity to not only just put a dent into the left-wing extremism nonsense, but theoretically, you could have killed it permanently, politically speaking, of course. Democrats, reminder, right after Kirk got shot, they were freaking the fuck out. They were panicking. Everyone was bailing. They were jumping ship because they thought, oh God, we went way too far. The FBI is investigating us. A lot of people looking at this now. It was open source. Everyone went crazy and all that. This was a once in a lifetime, again, yeah, once in a century opportunity to destroy this extremism politically. And they fucking blew it because Candace Owens, and really, she's going to get Tyler Robinson off the hook. I get this bad feeling about that case. After what Joe Kent said on that shitty podcast with Tucker, where it's like, guys, Robinson was totally innocent or whatever. I have a sick feeling that we're going to see Tyler Robinson get off scot-free. I got a sick feeling about this. And you know damn well Candace Owens will say, I told you so. It's going to be oh my gosh. It's going to happen. I hope Tulsi is good. Oh, yeah, she has disagreements with the Iran stuff, but she's not batshit crazy about it. She's not going to denounce Trump tomorrow, at least theoretically, no. The right of the George Floyd moment didn't advance. They had I would argue, a much bigger moment than George Floyd. Again, the George Floyd stuff, yeah, that pissed off a lot of people, but the difference is, that a lot of people could, there's even arguments right away after he died that, hey, he died from drug overdose or whatever. But here it's like, this guy got fucking shot for all of us to watch. We witnessed it live. He got shot. And it was just horrifying for a lot of people. And in fact, everybody was saying, you got to crack down these nutcases. And I still think they're doing investigations, but now it's a joke. Now Charlie Kirk, who should be seen as a martyr, is a meme because of Candace Owens, because of these dumb shits. It's just awful. This is Utah we're talking about. But I've heard some stuff like, I don't know. She just needs one schizophrenic in the jury, one leftist, or one schizophrenic, and it's over. Yeah, it's awful. I don't like where this is heading. I have a bad feeling about all of this. It sucks, but that's my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they do in fact charge him. And I hope they charge others, but you wasted all this valuable time and resources on this hysteria Egyptian bullshit with aliens, the Martians, the fucking X-Men, this school where the fucking he has like fucking like advanced powers and shit. It's a scam. It was a scam to distract everybody from the fact that there are nutcases in this country right now that want to kill anybody even remotely to the right. Not even on the right. Just, just remotely like even center left is too extreme for them. Not good. And she'll bring him on. Oh my God. If she brings on Tyler Robinson, if he's let off scot-free, there's going to be a day of reckoning for these people. Listen, there's nothing wrong with pushing conspiracy. Like, fine. There are some stuff about the Kirk assassination we still don't know enough about. There's some sketchy parts about it. Like, who else knew about it? Why was there a big party a week before? What's going on there? What about these Discord chats? But at the same time, that is valid skepticism. And do investigative work on that front. Not the Egyptian X-Men Martians with the killer bee death cult called the Beekeepers, that they got the Mormons and they're paid off by the Egyptians and like God knows who else. The American military's involved. Trump was involved. Erica Kirk was the ringleader of this. It's like, really? Is there one person Candace Owens and others have not claimed was involved? I'm pretty sure they've claimed every single person on Earth has been involved. This shit should have ended when they talked about the Egyptian planes. But nope. When the Egyptian plane stuff started, and that should be the end of this crap, it made things worse, and people fell for it. They ate up the slop, and now here we are. Now everything's a conspiracy, everything's a scam. No one knows what's real or not. You got Iranians, not just Iranian, but like third world slop accounts pushing hysteria nonsense every day. AI videos galore. That's all because of Candace Owens. And for the fact that a lot of people did not put an end to it immediately. Joe Kim was also following accounts like Project Constitution. Yeah. The guy was fundraising off the shit. He was alleging that Erica Kirk was Epstein's right-hand woman or whatever. It was crazy. I am Battlefield for 5. I swear the biggest failure of the admin will be if Robinson gets off free. Second A news and the second reconciliation bill. The first part, yes. Now, in their defense, I don't think it's really their fault if they get off scot-free, because sadly you have Candace Owens pushing shit. I swear. If she goes to the court case and she fucks up the jury, oh my God. There's gotta be a day of reckoning for these people. You gotta put an end to this crap. It's QAnon Turbo Edition. It's worse. QAnon at least was kind of funny. It was such like a small percent of the electorate that believed it. But now it's just like, no, it mutated. Now it's this. Second, any news on the second reconciliation bill? There are rumors about it. I've heard that they're going to, if they can't get through the initial way, they're going to try to get the Save America Act through reconciliation. Now that's very tricky, but I always thought about this. It's like, wait, and John Kennedy is right. He may not be perfect, but he was right about this. He says, hey, We got a bunch of legal scholars in the Senate, in the House, hell, on the right in general. There's got to be a loophole with reconciliation, like with election stuff. There's got to be something they could try to do. And there's ways around it. You got to tie it to money somehow. I think they're going to try to do something like that, and maybe funding for DHS. But yeah, let's see. Did you hear about Comey getting subpoenaed? Yeah. I can say this: there is a grand jury in Florida. That's gonna be where the indictments come from, if when they come. The reason it's taken so long, from what I've heard, is it's very difficult to, or it's just a long process to really connect the Mar-a-Lago raids to the shit that Obama was doing and others. So, but that's what they're kind of banking on. You get a friendly grand jury in Florida. You got a good judge, and now you're starting to see subpoenas get thrown out or like issued. That's where we're going to be able to see the best opportunity for indictments. I think we're going to see some soon, hopefully. I still think there's enough straightforward, cold cut evidence that'll land Tyler Robinson a guilty sentence. It doesn't matter. You need one schizophrenic or one leftist in the jury, and that's it. A quick reminder that leftists across the country, not just in one city, every state, every city, everywhere, they are planning. No, they're actively training activists to get in these juries, corrupt the jury pool, so they can nullify any proceedings. I'm not even joking. It's a scam. It is insane. Okay, we got apparently Trump just tweeted something about the DHS stuff. Let me find it. Where is it? Do you know where that was reported? Probably the White House account. I'm not seeing any tweets about it. Not seeing anything about it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not really seeing the DHS funding tweet, but I swear this war made people black pilled and it's sad. Well, yeah, people are just unhappy with like the fact that Americans are dying, and that really they've not done the best job messaging the war. But if they're out in the next like couple of weeks, it'll be fine. I think in the long term. Did you see the new narrative on the retard right? Yeah, I saw the China thing. It's just fucking crazy. That should prove, by the way, these people like they're third worldist. They want China to succeed, America to fail. They're admitting that, at least. That's a positive thing, actually. They're admitting, yeah, we want China to succeed and America to fail. We got to share power with them. What? No, we don't. What power do they got? They can't even defend their main allies in Venezuela and Iran and Cuba. They had nothing. All right. If anyone got any more super chats, any more questions, concerns, whatever, send them now. Last calls for super chats. Last calls for super chats. All right. Yeah, the war has made some people black pilled, sure, but I don't think it's as bad as some people think it is. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. I feel awful for Kirk's wife. She just buried her husband. Candace uses death to attack her. Yeah, it just that's the worst part about this. They instead of targeting the nutcases that did it, seriously, has Candace Owens mentioned once about Robinson? I'm trying to figure this out. So, has she mentioned Robinson at all in the last couple months? How many people forgot Tyler Robinson even existed? Seriously. Let's see. Thoughts of the Mueller post Trump made. I don't give a shit. Honestly, that's Trump being Trump. I can see why people are upset about it, but honestly, if you're Trump, I'm not saying that it's right from what he said, but the shit Mueller did to him, like I understand why Trump's not happy with it. But Anyways, gotta find it. So yeah, there is one more thing I do want to show and share. Actually, no, oh no, never mind. We're actually good. We actually went through the other stuff. We went through the Kent stuff. Good lord. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So last calls, super chats, everybody. Last calls. Trump is an idiot for posting that, but nobody's gonna give a shit in a week. Remember Rob Reiner? Rob Reiner was the end of Trump. Yeah. How did that go? Rob Reiner is the end of Orange Man, and nobody even knows he exists. It's fucking crazy. He says this shit every week. Like, you think like he's celebrating somebody dying or whatever, or something dumb like that. It doesn't help him, but yeah. All right. So I think that's it, everybody. We shall see you guys in the next stream, video, or wherever you see us at.